Hello and welcome into Off Topic, brought to you by Sorare Data. And I was going to keep going, and as soon as you smiled, it totally threw me off. Man. This is a special episode because I'm currently away. Not currently like right now, but when you are watching or listening to this, my good friend John Nellis was nice enough to come hang out for a little bit so that the Sorare Data content train continues. John, you don't know anything about continuing the content train. It has been a while since we have all seen you. How's it going?
It's going great. I legitimately haven't. I said to you, I just posted on Twitter as I sat down to do this. The camera has been turned on for the first time in 29 days. I came here maybe half an hour early just to update my lights and like my stream deck and like OBS and just all the things that might have been required. So
Right, just blowing the dust off.
honestly, like it's gathering. I moved my mouse and it's like a wee like mouse shape underneath it. This room has not been visited, but yeah, I'm excited because like I don't know, like this is off topic, and you messaged me and you were kind of like, let's talk about you, and I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of hate doing that, but I'll do whatever you want to do. You're going away, I get what it's like, so I'm just going to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and I am not exactly, I don't know, in the loop with Sorare, we could say, but that's going to change this week. I'm back.
I don't even think that matters. Like, nobody comes onto this show or watches this show and is expecting some sort of orderly discussion. So don't worry about it. But I did tell you I wanted to talk about you, and you were very much hoping I would talk about anything else, which was kind of funny because, like, I get not wanting to talk about yourself, but John, people are interested in you now. You're famous.
This is where the comments come in and go, I don't give a shit about this guy. But no,
this is why we didn't do the live chat here. We're doing this ahead of time so nobody can tell us.
I find it really hard. I don't know. I find it really hard because ultimately, like, it's still that imposter syndrome stage where, like, I remember I used to want to interview people who had way more subscribers or like numbers that I never thought I would have now. Do you know what I mean? Or I used to like look at that and used to be like, oh, I wonder how this or I wonder how that. But still now, I think it's this really hard line between like when you get asked about yourself, I just feel so like I'm just talking about my fucking self here. Who gives who like what?
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know. And then it's that line between like not coming off like a prick, but also not being like really closed off and not being like open. Because it's very easy just to go to play the like almost fake humble approach where you go, oh my God, it's also lucky. I can't believe it. It's amazing. I love it. But equally, you want to like give a real answer. I don't know. It's a weird one. So like, let's see. I might come off like an asshole the next half hour, 40 minutes, or I might not. But that's why I hate it. I just find it such a hard line when you talk about yourself. To not be a dick because you're talking about yourself.
Right, like, right. Yeah. No, I understand that. I think one of the kind of endearing is not the right word, but I can't think of a better one, is that the entire time since, I'll say a year ago, but it really hasn't even been a year, that like you have become more popular on YouTube, and like when you decided to leave your nice, stable air traffic control job to become a YouTuber, like every step of the way, you're like, I just really can't believe this is happening. Yeah. So I think that at least makes me feel like you're not a dick talking about yourself, because it's like, because you're just, I mean, it's very easy when you have success in anything, even, and particularly at such a quick rate, that you're just like, yeah, I'm really good at this, and like I deserve this, and I've, and I don't think you come off that way, so that's why I keep watching. I will say though that you have come up now in my life from other people that I don't know what like started it, but there were like, you come up in conversation. People are like, oh yeah, that guy from the YouTube video, the soccer videos, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, you know him, and I'm like, yeah, I've met him. Yeah. Yes, John's my best friend.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Of course I know him. Now, like me more because I know. No. It's like I was thinking about this like an hour ago. You have become mainstream before Sorare. Like Sorare is not mainstream.
You would be surprised how many. You'd be surprised how many people come up to me and say the Sorare guy.
Oh, really?
Honestly, it's mental. It's mental. Kind of annoys me. I want to be the John Nellis guy, but like it happens.
The people that I know Because you like end up in their YouTube feed.
Yeah.
It's not because they're really into Sorare. They're into football videos.
I think it's because a lot of them, like if I've kind of infiltrated people's algorithms and they watch the football stuff now, you know, I do a lot of like the player access stuff where it incorporates Sorare. So Sorare's been mentioned. And I think even over the World Cup, Sorare put some paid spend behind. They did it with a few influencers. They put like paid spend behind stuff promoting the Global Cup at the time.
Sure.
So that those ads were very like, oh, that's the ad guy. I didn't like that, so I don't like doing that as much. But like, yeah, it would surprise you. Like, I don't know what the percentage is, but like considering like the Sorare content I do is such a small percentage of the overall views.
Yeah,
it amazes me that so many people come up and be like, "Oh, Sorare," or so they always get it wrong. It was go Sorare, so rar. You know, they always say it weird. They always said something weird. You know, like,
right.
But
so that they clearly have no idea what it is yet.
Yeah, but the awareness is working. Like the name's out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably haven't signed up yet. But
yeah, I feel like because some of the videos, it's like if you are cognizant of Sorare, like you see them, like when you do the game where you put the cards in order and then you have to recreate the order, like obviously those are Sorare cards, or like the passing the football closest to, it would basically look like bocce to me, Sorare bocce, but like those are obviously Sorare cards, but it's not like plastered all over like that it's Sorare. So I could understand watching those videos and just being like, oh, what are those cards? And then you just get to the next video and you forget about it. But like at some point you see those enough where you're like, what are those?
What is that? It's the hardest line. I swear to God. You see with the player access stuff, there's so many rules with clubs, and all these rules just stifle creativity and virality. You know,
sure.
I could come up with so many ideas. If you give me Trent Alexander-Arnold, just because he's my favorite player, I can think of so many ideas that'll go viral. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee the club won't let him talk about his teammates. Probably won't let him talk about other teams. They probably won't let him kick a ball in case he pulls a hamstring. They probably won't let him do this. You probably have 3 minutes on a stopwatch, and you probably can't take him outside in case it rains. I'm not joking. I'm actually dumbing it down, the level of these things. So whenever I make Sorare content, it's so hard to do anything that's actually like, I don't know, that has any sort of call to action to sign up or show what Sorare is. It has to be kind of awareness and like a soft push where it's like subtly in there. I don't know. It's a weird one, but yeah, hopefully I get a chance to do more of it next season. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it was, I'm not sure if I should expose who it is because I'm not sure it's something that should have been, maybe it was shared publicly. So there were a bunch of people who did that Liverpool experience where they like got to play, you were there, and like a bunch of people had like took footage and like did videos on it. Actually, I think Quinny mentioned on his stream. That's why I was able to, now I'm thinking of it. But like all of the videos that anybody had wanted to put out from that experience had to be approved by Liverpool. So like they had to send it to the club, and somebody at the club had to, and it's like, we don't think of stuff like people who are just watching, like we don't think, we're just like, oh, why didn't you wear a Sorare shirt? Or, you know, like, why didn't you get him to do this? And it's like, it's just not that easy. And it kind of falls into what I'd said, I don't even know where I said it, but somebody, or like the topic came up that you like obviously get to do a lot of these like VIP experiences and all that, and you could get these videos. And I feel like there are people who are like, why can't I do that? Blah, blah, blah. And the way that I kind of explained it was, you're really good at showing us what the experience is. And like, that's not something that like anyone can do.
I think I listened to this at the time. I think I listened to that conversation when you had it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like I think people kind of misunderstand the point of having like influencers or whatever you call you type of people. But like, you need people who make the experience look fun so that we are like, oh, I want to go win that. And if you just have like some Joe Schmo who's like, hi, I'm here at Der Klassiker, it's fun, go Bayern. And you're just like, oh, that doesn't look that exciting. And so like, at least I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I get your point. It's back to that. Like, I think maybe, to be honest with you, I don't really see any of it because I've muted anyone that I think's an idiot a long time ago on pretty much everything, and I don't hover around in the general Discord. But I think the whole, like, if I even try and take myself out of it, and anyone watching this is going to go, okay, here's two influencers or whatever you want to call us, content creators talking about it. So we're obviously massively biased, and I get that, right? But to try and be as level-headed as possible and explain it, like, yes, I get to go and do loads of fun things. Yes, I get offered things that I'm not deserving of. Do you know what I mean? Like the one I got recently that I felt a little bit impostery. This wasn't even through Sorare. It was the Man City Open Top Bus Tour thing. I'm not a Man City fan. I love the Premier League. I follow football. I do it for a living. I put hours and hours and hours every week into football. I travel around. I make videos. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, it's like is there someone more deserving? Absolutely. And I pushed to get an extra ticket so that I could bring someone. And I ended up bringing Quinny because Quinny was a Man City fan.
For sure.
But had Alex been available, I would have been pushing for the third ticket to make a video to bring someone deserving. And I think that's how I justify it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, okay, will you go, well, why don't you just give all of them away to people more deserving? Then it's like, okay, because then I don't have a job, because then I don't make videos, and because then I don't get the experience to even give it to one person or two people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with these things from a Sorare perspective and a content standpoint, think of if we take Anfield as an example, it's a fine line. Should it be? I'll put it this way. I'll be completely blunt, and I'm not going to name anyone. Right? I'm not going to name anyone, and I don't actually have anyone really in my head. But there are influencers. There are influencers who went that day who made no content. There are influencers who went that day who made very little content, and there's influencers who went that day who maybe made a post. Now that's on Sorare to negotiate deliverables before they give this experience to someone. Sure. Sorare should be going to that person's agent or that person and saying, "We let you play at Anfield, but we need a short and 2 Instagram stories out of you. We need a YouTube video. We need this." The other thing on the day was, and this isn't, there's no resentment here. I don't care. I really don't care. My video isn't even out yet. My video that'll be out in probably 2 weeks. There's a week of editing to go, and me and Alex took a month off, and Alex is going to edit it. We have to think about the story, and we'll put it out. We did something really fun. Because everyone was playing, other than a lot of shaky kind of body cam GoPro footage, I haven't even watched a lot of the videos. Now I'm back. I'm going to try and get in the zone. I can't wait to watch Harry's video where he made a score. I can't wait to see that. I know Fiago did one. But Alex was probably the only cameraman in the whole place that day. Mm-hmm. Like, Alex is the one that caught Harry's goal. Do you know what I mean? Alex is the one who caught all the, a lot of the footage, right? Not all of it, but a lot of it. We dropped it to drive and gave it to everyone. So if I look at that, on that day, I can justify my existence there because I go, well, aside from having 2 Trents and one I spent bloody $8,000 on, like, aside from that, I'm kind of going, okay, well, the content that was produced because I was there, there's a lot of it, and even the shorts we've put out 4 shorts with Heskey and Fowler that have done millions of views promoting Sorare. There'll be a long form and another short to come out of the actual story of the day and the footage we shared with everyone else. But if I look at that and I go cutthroat and I actually think what should be done, I don't know if the number is 11v11. I don't know if it's 5 influencers for 15 people who get the experience. I don't know what that number is, but I do think it's really important that when Sorare give these experiences to people, there are deliverables, and that's almost against me. I want them to send me and not ask for anything, and then whatever I give them to get. But I just know that, like, if I go on these things, I try and provide as much value as I can, and there were definitely people there, much bigger influencers than me, people similar size, people smaller, whatever the fuck, I don't know, who didn't really produce anything. Now that, in my opinion, is a poor use of an experience I got on Sorare's behalf. But that's just one example. But that goes across the board to the MLB, NBA things. You see people going to stuff. You see any really premium experiences. People need to either bring views and attention to Sorare, or they need to be rewarded for playing Sorare, which further increases the draw of playing Sorare. Like, sure. But if someone goes who isn't really into Sorare just because they're a name with 500,000 subscribers, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's just something that Sorare will learn themselves. Like, over time, It's just, if you end up inviting the same couple people and they don't do anything that actually leads to people thinking more about Sorare, then you just stop inviting them. Like, it seems as simple as that to me, but that's not my job. I'm glad you brought up Alex because I wanted to talk about you two a lot. Like, I have many more questions, I think, than people who watch this stuff. So I'm not going to go totally into it, but I think
we can talk off air afterwards, all the boring shit.
Okay, great. I don't know what that is though, because I'm excited about everything. I don't know what you would qualify as the boring, but the most anticipated so far Sorare podcast was one that was never posted, and it was with you and Alex.
Do you know apparently we recorded that? We
at Lake Como
that.
Of all
it had
places.
Lake Como in the background. I swear to God.
So I don't want to talk about what you guys, because I don't know what you guys talked about then, but I do think people are interested just kind of how you guys got together, because I think I asked you fairly recently, like, when did you meet Alex? And even that was like so much more recent than I expected. And
Yeah.
part of it, I think, and you guys obviously work a lot together, so you have like a relationship, but you guys look like you have known each other like your entire lives, at
Yeah.
least on video. Maybe he's that good of an editor that, that he turns you guys into best friends.
Yeah, we
But
hate each other.
if you, every day of work is just a drag because you have to talk to him. No, but if you could just at least tell us like how you two got together at first, because I think I'm certainly interested in it, and it's my show, so I'm asking.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who are watching this mightn't even know of Alex's existence. They might have seen some like kind of pumpy rocket tweets of like billion views this and big achievements that. He's kind of the hype guy because he can get away with it. Um, the reality is, me and Alex are essentially co-creators. I think like from day one, Alex came in very very early. I'll tell you how I met him in a second, but he came in very very early. Sub, I think had about 4 or 5 thousand subscribers at the time, and only a Sorare channel. There was no viral football content. And Alex come in, and how I've managed to keep Alex as like me and Alex as a team is that it's my face, it's my name. But there was a period where we were very, very, very seriously contemplating just switching it from my name altogether to generic football page. Think, I don't know, goal, or like, I don't know, what are they, like one football? Is that a thing? I don't even really follow many. Post United. There's all these like
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yeah,
football pages. We were going to
yeah.
change it to like, I think the name at the time, I forget, a couple of names we thought about, because it was more of like it's a 50-50. The channel is 50-50. It's just me as the guy on the camera, but the amount Alex does in terms of like thumbnails and titles and ideas and the editing is all on Alex. And he's amazing at it. And I think like as times went on, because he came in initially after I did, the first, I had this big grand idea of like a Sorare vlog about, it was December 2021, and I got VIP tickets to Barcelona.
Yeah.
I went and did that and paid Alex like a flat fee to edit it, because I'd done a podcast with him years ago on Football Index. That's how I knew him. I knew he was a producer at Sky Sports, or an assistant producer or something. And I reached out to him and was like, do you know anyone? Thinking it'd be below his pay grade. And he was kind of into it. He said, I'll do it. So we went and did it. And then out the back of it, I remember in the January, I rang him and basically went, I have money. I want to really give this YouTube thing a go. Like, if you have any ideas for videos, let's just do them. I'll pay for them. We'll make them happen. I lost lead for as long as it takes. Let's just go and make big things happen. And instead of going and doing like Mr. Beast giving away 10 grand type stuff, Alex said, right, well, what we need to do first is get you a better camera, get you better lighting, get you better this, get you better that, improve your setup, and then pay me to do thumbnails, pay me to do titles, pay me to edit everything, just make everything better. Did that, and there was a big sort of upturn in the Sorare content at the time. There was a notable change. Remember the old caricature kind of, there was like a cartoon of me, and like the thumbnails were all kind of yellow, right, and with blue. Like the original like beginner's tutorial was like the biggest video then. We pivoted, and just the content leveled up. But all the way through that, like me and Alex are just chatting all the time. And then in the May, whenever I had like this shows the loyalty on both ends, right? And why I would never shaft Alex, and why I believe he'd never shaft me. In May 2022, a few months after like working with me, sitting at about 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers, Alex handed in his notice at Sky for me and him to just do it. And we took on like the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel as a side thing. And I went and handed my notice in on the same day, but they came back to me and offered me a job share. So they offered me like half hours, and I went, aye, that'll do. That's a start. I'll take half hours. Alex was fucked. Alex was gone. Alex was at home with his P45, no job. How was he going to feed himself? So we got to work that summer on Fantasy Football Hub. And while doing Fantasy Football Hub stuff, because it was on someone else's kind of time and budget, and we also really wanted to do well for the channel, we decided, when Alex came over to me in the summer, we decided to record like a short, and it was along the lines of guess the player's FPL price, win the money in cash or something. Walked around Cork City with a sign. And that video, when we put it out, our first piece of short form content did like 1 million views. And we were like, hold up a second. We've just spent like 6 months working our bollocks off, 8 months on Sorare content, and we put out one video like this and it does 1 million views and gains X amount of thousand subscribers. This is wrong. So in August, we basically went, nah, this is it. We're going shorts. And we just went absolutely ham, 2 a day. Every bit of resource, every bit of time we had, 2 a day at shorts. And they started picking up in September 2022, which is less than a year ago. And then I realized very quickly that the World Cup, so I'd say in about September we were hitting our flow, and it was the end of September, maybe early October, and I remember saying to Alex, I remember having this light bulb moment of like, the World Cup's in like 6 weeks, and we're putting out videos that are getting millions of views. Now, a lot of them are doing 20,000 views, 10,000 views, 5,000 views. Relative to today's numbers, they were flopping, but we were still putting out videos that were doing millions. And I was like, the World Cup's in 6 weeks. 10 times, 50 times more people care about the World Cup. Everyone cares about the World Cup.
Right.
So I was like, right, Operation World Cup prep. So before, like, 2 weeks before the World Cup, I think, so 2 weeks before, we started putting out 2 World Cup videos a day. So that was 28 ideas before the thing even kicked off. So all those had to be scripted, written, rewritten to make them look sexy, recorded and edited. And they were all ready. And I remember I put one out on the 11th of November, just over a week before it. It was 5 rule changes at the World Cup. And on TikTok, I think it's done 13 million views or something. And I remember I was driving to an FPL meetup in Galway, and I was just updating TikTok. And every time I updated it, there was like another 50,000 views. And it was just like another 500 subscribers. And it was just like, what's going on? Then the World Cup, it took off, and now we're here. There's obviously lots happened this year, just ticking along, but like trying to do the long form thing as well. But ultimately, that's how me and Alex have been. But every day now every day for a year, we've been talking. The only time I haven't spoke to him is in the last month. We proper switched off. I spoke to him a wee bit, but like,
Well
I'm having a
deserved.
call with him after this. So that's how me and Alex came to be. But essentially, he's just the other half of the operation that doesn't get the fame.
I think it's maybe because I have a different vantage point of content, that like I at least know how much work Alex has to do to like do all of those videos. Frankly, I'm shocked it's 50-50. I would have assumed it was like 75% Alex and 25% you.
If he edit that out, if he's listening, he'll get ideas.
But yeah, no, it was clearly like, it clearly works. Like, you guys clearly, like, just the way that it all comes together works. And so like the subscriber and view success is like completely well deserved because of everything you guys do. And I think one of the reasons why it's so good is because I think people are like, oh yeah, that's pretty simple. Like, I could do that. And then people try it, and it's a lot harder than it looks. Like, I talked recently on, I think it was this off-topic show, that there are a lot of people who are thinking about doing Sorare content. And they're like, I don't know if I want to do it, or they start and they stop. And I was just like, no, just go do it. Like, go do the content. And part of that was like telling people that they should just go for it. Like, I'm kind of just one of those people that, like, if you have an idea and you believe in it, like, go for it. But the other part was also making people realize that it's just not that simple. I will say this show is very simple, so don't worry about that. But like, producing as much as you do is not that easy. I mean, even just coming up with the ideas, and like you said, like writing the script, having to cut it down. Like, I was joking with somebody the other day that I was trying to put together something and it was 61 seconds. And I was like, all right, let me figure out how to like cut this 1 second, even though I thought I had like done, and it's just like stupid shit like that like you have to end up thinking about. So like this time last year, surely you dreamt that you would have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers and views. Was there, not that you thought it would be this fast, but
no,
did you think that what you're doing now was at some point what you were going to be doing?
No. I don't even know what I thought.
Right. That was, you were like, I'm going to become a full-time YouTuber. And it's like, all right, what does that mean? And you're like, make YouTube video. I don't know. And yeah. So where did you think you were going?
It was a proper mad leap of faith. I think like, I'm trying to think, like, it's no secret, you know, the Sorare's affiliate scheme has been good to me and good to many others, but it's nowhere near what it was. in the like 20 in the boom kind of what
Yeah.
was that 2021? When was the Gary
Yeah.
V thing?
Yeah. 2021.
In around then, I got incredibly lucky because I put out the beginner's tutorial in January and it became like the top kind of search. It SEO'd the best of all Sorare videos and caught all the whales who came with whatever, not all the whales, but I did well, right? I
Sure.
did well. And that has slowed up massively. But I think even like a year and a half ago or a year and a bit ago when I initially, it's mad I've been doing, time is just gone. Jesus, well, I've just realized I've been like a full-time YouTuber for like 7 months now, 8 months.
Yeah, but
Like a
that's
year
nothing.
ago. Yeah, no, it's just still crazy. But like a year and a half ago when I initially went and handed in the notice or whatever, I thought that that would have been a bigger part of the income longer term. I thought that was one. And then whenever we took on the fantasy football hub thing, I thought through the affiliate thing of that and the views that are out in the FPL space, maybe the ad revenue, blah, 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 like a share deal we had, maybe that could have been something. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe some other things will come up. But like back then, by the end of this season, if I had 100,000 subscribers, I don't even know. I think we had probably, there's messages definitely of us saying like, what do we think we'll have or what do we think it'll be? Or I think like before we even discovered shorts, by the end of the season, 25K might have been like a target or something. Once we discovered shorts, we were like, we might get to 100K this season.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the season, there's over 400. And it's like, okay. I think like short form changed that. But the reality is, I was in a blessed position with short form. And everyone out there listening might go, why am I not making shorts? Do you know what I mean? Why am I not making shorts? First, there's a lot of things to that, right? Without sounding waggy, like, well, I can stop. Like, I don't have to sound like a prick if I just say Alex is incredible in how he edits and how we make shorts together. You know, there's an art to it.
Yeah.
A lot of them flop, but quite often when they do well, you look at it and you go, oh, it's obvious why that's done well now. And we've also got 500 shorts in the locker now where we've done the reps and we've learned that, you know,
Right.
because we've done 2 or 3 a day for a year. So like we've learned that. But the reality with short form content is if anyone decides to go out and do it now, TikTok's algorithm is great. You might get lucky on TikTok with an account that was started yesterday. You could get millions of views. TikTok doesn't really pay. If I get 1 million views on YouTube at the minute on like a short form, it might be like 30 quid. When you think of like me and Alex, or if you try and do this on your own, and if you try and sustain it 1 to 2 a day over any sort of period of time, like getting paid, like, and when you are starting out and you get lucky and hit 1 million views, and that's like that proper virality for you, like 1 million views, what, getting paid 30 quid for that hit? It's like, yeah, good luck. It's not sustainable for anyone to sink as much time as we have into shorts, but we kind of like, we're in a position through the Fantasy Football Hub contract and through the Sorare content initially that we could loss lead and we could kind of go like, right, we're going to dump resources at this and it's going to work long term. But I think shorts are like, I talk about them as if they're cheat code, and they kind of were cheat code for us in terms of growth. But in terms of financial return, that's not, they're nowhere near long form. They're nowhere near like like the short revenue is a minute part of my income.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
they're almost
It
like the
couldn't sustain
advertising
me and
budget.
Alex. Yeah.
It was funny to me though, that because you've always kind of referred to it as like a cheat, but
Yeah. It feels cheaty.
realistically, so that's the other thing. Like a 60-second short takes way longer than 60 seconds to create. And so it's not like you're doing 60 seconds of work
Yeah.
and getting all of that. So there's like a significant time into that. Obviously, editing a 30-minute video is harder than, or takes longer than a 60-second video. But you're still like providing content that people want to watch. Like just because it's short doesn't mean people are less interested in it. And
Yeah.
so getting a bunch of subscribers and a ton, millions of views being and on with a short and thinking we're cheating, like it's just kind of what people want to watch now,
Yeah.
I
It's
guess.
different.
Yeah.
I think it's the difference in my head when I say cheating is like it's cheating in terms of conventional YouTubers. Do you know what I mean? Like YouTube, when someone watches long form, had I gained 400,000 subscribers or whatever through long form, people would know who I am as a guy to an extent. You know, it's edited, it's
Mhm.
cut down, it's the best bits. But ultimately, they would know my mannerisms and who I am a bit better. Shorts, I'm just like, I'm the medium that gives it to you, but there's no personality really in the shorts. It's storytelling. Every word counts, every second counts. It's me just being shouty face man. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they get to know who John Nellis is.
Yeah. I
Whereas
know
I
exactly
think,
what you mean, but you're selling yourself short that there's no personality to it. Like you can't be some like boring ass guy just like reading off of a script.
yeah, but I mean, they don't know that I'm into. They don't know that I like this. They don't know that I'm into
Yeah.
that. Whereas if they watch the long form of us somewhere, they might get to know a little bit about me as like, oh,
Yeah.
John's quite competitive, isn't he? Or oh, John's like into this, or I don't know. It's hard to
Right.
explain. The short term, I'm almost just like the medium that delivers it. Whereas I feel like long form is the thing that excites me in terms of like I feel like maybe it's just because we've done the shorts for so long, and maybe it's just how I see it. I think the long forms that we do are like for me the big goal for this season. I want the video that does a million views. It's long. That's a goal. That's hard to get, and it's like I feel like that's just like that's what I want this season. And I think those videos are genuinely they're the work I'm proudest of ever. I think like the race one we did recently,
That
the
was so good.
Celtic one, like I just think like the amount of work that went into that video is incredible. Like so much work, and
I'm
like
sure.
that's what I'm proudest of. So I want to keep doing that because that's what I really enjoy. When you get the final outcome of like a long form like that, it's just so like satisfying and like proud. Like I would say to people, watch this. Whereas my
Yeah.
shorts, anyone comes to me like I'm like, oh, you make videos for a living, I must follow you. I'm like, don't. Unless you like football, why would you bother your arse? But I can go to any of my family, any of my friends, anyone I meet, anyone you're introduced to, like, oh, you're a YouTuber. Yeah, watch my last one. Yeah. Like I'll proudly say it about those. So I love the long form stuff.
Yeah. I get it.
It just feels different.
Sure. Well, like you said, it kind of lets the audience see you a little more as opposed to
Yeah.
just the most expensive footballer cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you can answer this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. When it comes to like the VIP experiences and all that, is that Sorare coming to you and saying, "Hey, we have two VIP, or we're giving you two VIP tickets, go make some content," or are you calling them and saying, "I'd really like to go to El Clasico. Can you make that happen?"
Depends. Both. Like the tickets they have and stuff, like they have amazing access, as everyone knows. But a lot, I don't. It's not a case of I get whatever I want. There's a lot of things I get paid from. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of matches I say, "Can I get these?" No. Can I get these? No. But it's more about me and Alex looking at the calendar, looking at the ideas we have, looking at the content we want to execute, and being like, right, this match will work for that. This match will work for that. Can we get this for that? Can we get this for that? Um, and then sometimes there'll be things like, we can't get you that, but there's this. Or I remember I was meant to be going to, where was I meant to be going? I think it was around remember, I went to like a Liverpool Arsenal game VIP. And I think the day before I tried to get tickets to something else. I can't remember. But basically, how I ended up going to the Old Firm with my cousin and that video came about was, oh, remember that game we said with tickets for you for? Yeah, they were accidentally given away by the such and such people. But we have Old Firm tickets if you want them. Oh, yes,
Yeah,
please. Like,
that'll
or
do.
there's things like that. So there's a wee bit of give and take. But ultimately, it all comes down to like with me and like I have a contract with Sorare in terms of deliverables. And on that contract, Sorare give me tickets. They have X amount of tickets or like experiences they need to give me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Well, they do and they don't. I mean, it's very much like we don't. Neither of us are sitting nitpicking at the contract, but ultimately there is one in place where it's like they will provide me with tickets. They'll try and get me experiences. They'll try and get me this. They'll try and get me that, and in return, I'll give them X amount of shorts or
Yeah,
long form videos per month. And that's the way I am. I don't know if that's the way it is with all the other creators, but like that's how I kind of can have confidence that like, oh, we can ask Sorare. It's not like a beggy thing. It's like a
yeah.
transactional thing.
Well, I
It goes
mean,
both ways.
yeah, it seems like so far you're delivering a lot more than really anyone else, right?
I don't know. I don't really. I actually don't really watch a lot of content, so maybe there's people out there doing loads. I
I
know,
don't.
like, do you know what I mean? I know other people, like, there's other people who get a load of experience, but like, I don't actually consume a hell of a lot of content other than podcasts in terms of so rare. I've always said
Mhm.
that. It's not because I
Yeah,
don't think it's good. It's just because I'm really not like a YouTube watcher guy. I don't know, but there are a few I want to watch. I really want to watch that Harry one, as I said.
The hairy one is fun.
I like
but
vlogs.
I'm kind of the same way.
Yeah.
I'm old, and that's why.
Yeah.
But like sitting down and watching YouTube for hours was just never part of my life. So like starting now, I try to watch a little more. I kind of sometimes have a lot of stuff on in the background, like Nep streams for like 15 hours a day, and we'll talk about Sorare, and I'll put that on in the background. But then the biggest problem I always have with even with podcasts is I can't listen and do something else. I literally cannot do it. I either have to listen and like pay attention, and if I'm like at the gym or something, then it's okay because I'm just working out. Like I'm not doing anything else. But yeah, if I'm like at some point I'm listening to a podcast and doing some work, and I'm like, not only have I not done any work, but I don't know what's going on in the podcast, so then I have to go back and then adding like the video element for YouTube or Twitch, wherever. Like it just, I haven't gotten that into my routine yet.
I'm a dog walk or drive guy. If I'm not doing either of those things, I'm probably not consuming content. I've started downloading YouTube videos for flights. I was flying a lot, haven't flown a lot recently, but whenever I realized I'm flying all the time, I was like, oh, maybe I should do something with all these hours in the air with no internet. Right. So I started downloading YouTube stuff for, I don't know, educational things, or when I say educational, all kind of YouTube focused. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to learn more, or like watching other videos that have done really well and trying to wonder why has that done well, that type of vibe. Alex calls it my homework. If Alex watches a good YouTube video, he'll send it to me with just like homework, and then I'll go and download it in YouTube, and next time I'm on a flight, I'll watch it. But yeah.
How do you like traveling?
Living the dream, man. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't change it for the world. No, I do. I love the experiences. I love the matches. I love what I get to do. I absolutely love it all. But I think I maybe did a little bit too much of it in April and May and was kind of burning out. So I needed a wee bit of time off. It was just too much. You know, whenever you're like, it's like anyone. It depends on what way you're built. Some people maybe love the lifestyle of constantly moving, constantly doing this, constantly doing that. And I love it when I'm there. Yeah. But what people don't see is the nights alone in hotel rooms, the hours alone in airports, the driving, the flying, the fanning about, and it's just missing things at home and not seeing your mates and not seeing your family. And you know, if you want to try and meet someone, you know, recently single, trying to get out on dates or meet people, where are you fitting that in when you're away 6 times in a month? So there is a payoff. Now, don't get me wrong, absolutely love it. I just don't want to do as much as I did in the last few months. I'm happy to go away 2, maybe 3 times a month. That's the dream, I think, for me. I think I've realized that. I think I just said yes to everything, sort of in the last few months, and loved it. Some incredible experiences. And as I say, when you're there and when you're doing the experiences, when you're meeting the players or when you're at games, unbelievable. Still love it. But for an hour and a half match at times, flying from Ireland as well can be a pain. You know, you can be 3-4 days out of the house, and like, you know, to wait for a flight, like 2 or 3 times it happened to us, where I remember Alex got stuck in Naples on his own. He was in the airport for 5 hours or something, and then they cancelled his flight, so he's in Naples alone for another night. And a night sounds like nothing. People go, "Oh no, you're in Naples for a night." Yeah, but when you've been there for days and days on your own, then you have to go out for dinner on your Todd. And you know, whenever we were traveling that much, there was also every day you're away means that whenever you're at home, there's more you need to catch up on. So every day I wasn't here was a day I couldn't record a So Far So Rare podcast. I couldn't record So Rare videos because I wasn't in this chair. I couldn't like record shorts. I couldn't script shorts. I couldn't edit shorts. Not that I do that. So it meant that whenever you're away, because whenever you go so much, it means when you come back, there's twice as much work to do. So it's like you're working twice as hard when you're home and then you're away. So I just felt like for a month or 2, I didn't see any friends or family. But so do I love travel? I think I've always loved traveling, and I do love travel, but I over traveled a few months ago. But we're back, and I'm ready, and I'm cognizant of that now. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's another one of those things that you had to do it to realize it was too much, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if someone says to you, "Oh, here, do you want to go to this game?" and you're like, "Yes, I fucking want to go to that game." It's unbelievable. I'm saying yes every single time.
Yeah.
Every time. And I know I'm probably going to do it again. But like, because it feels ridiculous. Still, it's that kind of like, wait there, I'm being offered tickets to this. You know, like I never thought I'd be able to go to games like that, never mind VIP. So it's like I'm saying yes every single time. But then whenever you just say yes and yes and yes and yes and yes, and then you realize, oh, I'm out of the house 23 days this month. What about my dog? You know, it's like, oh, so yeah, my mom and dad have pretty much adopted my dog, which is nice.
Sure. What's it like doing stuff with professional footballers?
I enjoy it. I do. I really do.
What was the first one that you did? I'm trying to think back.
Well, the PK would have been the first, and then the baseball guys, and then
Julio Rodriguez says hi, by the way.
I know. I know. 41 home runs.
That was fun to watch.
My guy. Do you know what is when's the did he play in the All-Star game?
Mm-hmm.
In Seattle
2 days ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, like so PK was really nice because it was really relaxed. And we
that was at the Sorare office.
Yeah, there was no there was no real vetting of what we were going to say or do. We just kind of had to say this, so what we're going to do, but there wasn't like players with the club was all over it because he'd retired by then.
Right.
So like it was real chilled, which was nice. So it was a nice kind of break in. And then some of the content out the back of it did really well, which was kind of nice. The MLB was huge for confidence building. But I think I kind of had a wee bit of an edge in the MLB stuff because I was walking into these American, I imagine you're American. I mean, Julio Rodriguez and Juan Soto, they're pretty big deals over there, aren't they?
Sure.
I didn't have a fucking clue who
they
were. You know, like, so I'm rocking up and Juan Soto's rocking in. And like how I greeted all 8 of the guys I met was, all right, Juan, how's it going? I'm John. I'm from Ireland and I know nothing about baseball. And that immediately kind of like, I don't know, unhinged them or like opened them up or caught them off guard or make them ask me questions. Do you know what I mean? It was like, what the fuck? So it kind of, they're probably used to the crispy, clean American, like, so Julio, tell us about your this and this and that and bloody, blah. You know, they're probably used to that really crisp, clean cut CNBC image or Fox News. I don't know. I'm making up stations. I know. Do you know what I mean? They're probably used to that. Or like, what do you call people who write about clothes? Beat writers? Is that what you call them?
Yes, that is exactly what they are.
They're used to that vibe, I'd say. So whenever they get this like Irish guy who's just like kind of taking the piss out of them, a lot of the stuff never made like any of the Sorare content either. Like a lot of the piss taking and banter. But it was really good for confidence building because like I did Juan Soto first and he was really nice, got on with him really well, but he wasn't as like, I don't know, it's not like we hit it off, if you like, you know what I mean? You got on with him, nice guy and all. Julio Rodriguez rocks in and we just got on like an absolute house on fire, pissing ourselves laughing, having a ball. There's Julio Rodriguez, da 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 da. And at the end of it, it was like he asked me for my Instagram and like he messaged me when he left. Do you know this type of vibe? And it was what's happening? But that really made me feel like it gave me such a like so much confidence in it. If that hadn't happened, would have still been a good thing, went well. The fact he did that was like to everyone else in that room, because behind the camera there might be 20 or 30 people sitting watching, people with like the makeup and then like the sound and the camera ops, and then like all the Sorare people sitting around, and then all the MLB people sitting around, and then all their agents sitting around. And whenever all them see like Julio at the end, like taking your Instagram and having a laugh with you, it was like it kind of made like it helped with the imposter bit. And then Vinny Pasquantino and me had a proper laugh. Hunter Green and me got on really well. And he said he might come to Ireland sometime. He really wants to come over. So, and then there's, not to visit me, by the way, I'm not trying to claim that, but he was on to me about coming to
in your
Ireland.
extra bedroom.
Yeah, he's always wanted to go to Ireland. He said he'll hit me up for some recommendations or something. But, and then who else to get on well with? Willie Adamez had a good laugh. But the other guys like Joey Votto and Eloy Jimenez, there may have been one or two more, they all went really well. Everyone went well. So that was just like, that meant that whenever it came to the football stuff, even though I knew these guys, it's just like, I knew I could do it because I'd done it with players already. So it was kind of all right.
Yeah, I was actually just wondering, like, if the footballers were different only because they walk in and you're like, I actually know who you are, as opposed to
it's
the baseball guys where you're just like, Sorare told me I should meet you, so here I am.
But I think with footballers across the board or sports people, like there was athletes who rocked in MLB players who were a little bit frosty or frostier from the get-go. Like they've been here, they've done this before, blah, blah, blah. Young guys are always better. I've realized that very quickly. Young guys are better, full stop. Don't give me anyone over 25 in any sport. You can do it and it's great crack and whatever else, and you make it happen. Sorry, Laird, I don't want you on my podcast anymore. But the young guys are always like, they aren't jaded yet from the media. So, like, for example, when I went to Napoli, like Politano was great, lovely. Lobotka, lovely, he was great. Who else do we have? But regardless, standouts, Raspadori and Zadadka, they were like game. Like they were into it.
Yeah.
Like it was time for Zadadka to go, and he was like, "Wait, I haven't done that one yet. I want to do the memory test thing." I was like, "Okay, we were going to leave it out because we didn't think with time, but let's go." You know, he was a game. Raspadori's a sweetheart, and I always come away from these things wanting to go and buy their super rares. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah,
Raspadori was unreal, and then like at Milan, like Salamakers, chilled as they come. All about it. In fact, they were all lovely, but like you knew that like Rebic had done it a few times. Still sound, everyone's great. No one's been a dick yet, but like really, really nice. But I don't know, the younger lads at times are just a bit more like game as a badger, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of forget that they're also just humans. Like some people are just a little more outgoing than others, or like you said, like if you have done this stuff for so long. And they're like, hey, we have another guy here for YouTube. And they're like, all right, like they've done so many of them anyway. But so it makes sense. It's one of those things, like we just forget that they're also just human beings. And some people are just nicer than others.
And they could have an off day. They could have had a hard training session. They could have just been dropped. They could have just been this. They could have had anything going on. There's a million things that could be going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's guys who are up for it. There's guys who aren't. Depends on the day. But like, you just go with it. Parejo was really fun. I think he was easier as well because strangely, so one of his mates plays Sorare. His next door neighbor is a guy who's an agent in Spain, Kike, and he plays Sorare, knew me, messaged me a year and a half ago, got me that photo of Danny Prey holding a shirt ages ago. So when I was going over, I said to him, look, I'm going to be in Valencia if you want to meet for dinner or whatever. So we met him for dinner the night before and we're having the crack. And he was messaging Danny at the table, being like, Danny, you're meeting this guy tomorrow, be nice type of thing. So it meant when I met him, he was already pre-warned by his mate, like this guy's sound just like, you know, put a bit of extra like cheese on, smile a bit, you know, and he did, and he bought into it and he had a laugh and it was funny. And
he broke the mold because he's not that young.
No, so Danny is like the outlier, but no, it was really, really cool. So hopefully he can do more of it next season. I'm just hoping, like, so ultimately how this will go, none of this is like under wraps in my head anyway. Like how this sort of stuff will go is Sorare will have a look at all the views that all those videos got, and they'll go, okay, we give John half an hour with AC Milan players. He returns us X amount of million views. If someone else can go and do better, they'll give it to someone else. So I'm just hoping next season they go, oh, that did well. Let's maybe try him with a Liverpool. Let's maybe give him a wee PSG. You know, give big man Bayern Munich and see how he gets on. But we'll see. Maybe they'll just won't. And that's up to them.
I mean, you obviously must have a list of places you want to go or clubs you want to visit. I don't want you to.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to give them all up, but.
Well, no, it's all just it's a content. It's all the big ones. Do you know what I mean? It's content. It's a content game. Like, who's the biggest? Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Man City would be huge. Arsenal, Liverpool, Dortmund would be fun. Bayern Munich would be fun. PSG would be massive. You know, in Italy. I mean, to be fair, Napoli and AC Milan aren't small. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forgetting another one of the top 5 leagues.
Saudi Arabia. Oh wait, no.
What a graveyard! That is tragic from a Sorare perspective. I've eaten a few L's there. Koulibaly, Gonzo, Jota.
It was probably a good time for you to take a month off, to be honest.
Yeah. Every time, do you know what? This is horrible, right? Are you feeling this? You know, every time you see someone going to Saudi and you don't have them, do you get like a little like, oh, I get it. Sergio Milinkovic-Savic, come on, get in. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. You know,
I won't name names or include numbers, but there are people there who have like, I've lost so many cards to Saudi Arabia, and I'm just like, sorry, but I don't care.
I don't know. Jota was a hard one because I kind of thought people that young were a little bit safer. So whenever Jota was gone, it's like, oh, that's sore. But I kind of had it in my head that Jota might have been one of those that gets it out I'm just pulling a club out of my head. I won't even pull a club, like mid to lower table Premier League team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I thought, like, okay, he was at risk of semi-death anyway.
I completely agree. Yeah, like obviously you would have preferred him to go to wherever, Middlesbrough or Bro or wherever. To be honest, I don't even pay attention to the Prem anymore. Not Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest. That's what I was thinking of. But like, so it's like he's not dead, but you're also not wanting that card, and so Saudi Arabia is obviously worse. But like,
yeah. Do you know what I want to say? Something on a Sorare perspective as well, and you can bring it back to me or not after. But I need to say this: I have been playing MLB. I have been setting my Sorare teams, the football ones. I haven't really won much. I've won a wee threshold here or there, or whatever. But like MLB, I love it, and I know nothing about it, and I watch no games. All I do is on the day of the deadline. I go. This sounds like you've paid me to do this, right?
yeah.
It really does. But I swear to God, I know nothing, right? Nothing. I go onto the Sorare Data Baseball lineup builder on the day of the deadline, and I go to Limited Pro, suggest lineup, and I put it straight in. And then I go to Limited All Star, suggest lineup, put it straight in. And in the last 2 months, right, or whatever, like the last 2 months, if I go back to where it says 2 months ago, you might know some of these: Buck Farmer, Brian Reynolds, Chris Sale. I bought a Freddie Freeman, and then I want Cal Quantrill. I won 2 rares: Luis Severino and Yastrzemski or something. Yastrzemski, okay. Jaron Duran limited, Kevin Biggio limited, Christian Yelich, Alex Kurloff limited, and then I won another rare: Brandon Drury, and I've since won Anthony Volpe, Tim Anderson, Emilio Pagan, and Ketel Marte. All limited. Like, I've won like 20 cards and I don't even know the game. Part of me wonders, why don't I just go and buy the best rare cards and do it on, like,
Let's do it again.
Do the same. Now, I say that. Now, I did come out the gun like hot whenever MLB came out. I'm still massively behind. I bought the Ronald Acuna. I bought an Ohtani. I bought Mookie Betts and Trey Turner. So I do have cards that are good.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like ridiculous that I do not know it at all. At all. And I've got 4 rares from playing limiteds. I'm going to have a rare lineup next season.
You might. I was thinking about you the other day because there was an article that came out basically that if it wasn't for Shohei Ohtani's season, everybody would be talking about Ronald Acuna Jr. as being the best player in baseball, and that he's doing things that like nobody's ever done, and he's like had an incredible season, and Ohtani basically overshadows him. But I was like, if Ohtani was not having this season, there would be people who'd be like, hey, what do you want for that 1 of 5,000 Acuna? And
give me my money back. That's all. It's not too much to ask. Well, it probably is. Just give me my money back. Yeah.
One day, John. One day. We'll get there.
I mean, like, it's limited now is going for like what, 100, 200 quid? Like, it's up significantly.
Yeah. That's actually really good for a limited card because they're 1 of 5,000.
If only I hadn't spent 1,600 quid. Anyway, I have a Clayton Kershaw jersey and a Lewis Robert one of.
Yeah.
2 other things I paid too much money for.
Robert was in the home run derby.
How'd he do?
He was in it.
Okay.
He actually was I think he made the final or the semi or the final. He did very well in it, but they didn't do anything for the All-Star game, which was a little disappointing, to be honest, on Sorare. But what else did I want to ask you? I don't know. When are you starting back up?
The drips. Huh?
When are you?
Oh, when am I starting what up?
When does So Far So Rare start back up?
Probably next week.
Oh.
I could have done this week. I took a long time. I took a month. So like I was thinking of doing it this week, but I think the next 2 days are going to be like, all right, what is actually the plan? And then next week is like back to work in my head. So
that's a lot
next
of
week I'll
traffic, to
start
be honest,
getting
in that
So
time.
Far So Rare and So Rare videos, and looking at next season. I'll probably have a look at my gallery and actually try and maybe think of some sort of strategy. One thing I did do that I haven't really spoke about in content, but maybe it's like so far gone that why does anyone care? Allison, 27 days ago, so 2 days after I last turned the camera on, I got an Allison in.
Seems like a card you should have had.
Yeah, but you see, now I've got 2 Trents, and I don't want to get rid of a Trent because Trent's, I think, like with this new midfield role, blah blah blah, what he's doing at England, I just like they're ditching Henderson, Fabinho, and whatever else, and I don't know. I just like it's not even like Trent needed anything more, but the lack of they won't have Europe, and they'll just be. I think he's just going to cream in the Premier League every week. I think everyone thinks it. Of 2 of them, and part of me is looking at that, and now that he's not under 23, and I'm like, okay, I can have a Trent the running champion Europe, and I can have a Trent the running champion Europe Rare Pro or All Star Rare Pro every
Yeah.
week. But would it be better use of my funds to sell a Trent, to have like Allison, Trent, and put that Trent money towards a Kimmich, towards and he's half a Kimmich, but you know what I mean, like towards another elite
Yeah.
champion player. I don't know. I'm thinking like, is keeping 2 silly, or should I like go for like? I even have like the guts of a Real Madrid stack. I've got Bellingham and Vinicius. The problem is you're going to want them in under 23s, and then I've got like Courtois. If I pick up a Militao, I've Tony Cruz as well. I don't know how much he play this season or whatever, but you know what I mean? It's just like I've like 2/3 of like a few stacks, and I need to maybe sit down and have a think about what I really want to do. And the problem is you don't really want to make moves now and then get killed by a transfer.
That's the scariest part.
And I also don't know how much I want to see.
You're looking at guys who are big enough that like they're probably
fine.
not, knock on wood, going to Saudi Arabia or some. They're not go. If they go to another licensed team, like you're probably fine.
Do you know who I have? Joselu. Is he going to get any minutes at Madrid?
No.
Okay. There we go. Nope. Okay.
No, he'll get the random. It's the same time when Arda Güler plays. Like they have Man City back-to-back midweeks, and they play, a banged up Betis in the weekend. Yeah, or Elche. Yeah, I think Elche got relegated.
Oh yeah, that I was talking about it. I was talking about like the cup. So.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I need to have a wee look, and I think because I'm kind of just a bit lost.
Yeah, I think the way that your gallery was mostly set up, it was mostly champion Europe anyway, and those tended until this year were mostly fine transfer wise.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's coming back.
I can't wait. It's been nice like having a break. Do you know what? That's the thing for me the last few weeks. I don't know if anyone else at home or people who don't make content do this. And I don't know if you're intending to take a break. That was I legitimately switched off. Like I really didn't think about football or Sorare for like 2.5 weeks there. I'd say the first week and a half, my head was still a little bit in the game and I was still thinking. But I've just had 2.5 weeks where my mind had nothing to do for the first time in years. Like really. I mean, it was whenever I was in air traffic control for the last 4 years. Really, because 4 years ago I started making content, and even if I had time off from air traffic control, I was thinking about content. And then whenever I got out of air traffic control, it's always been content. I don't know. It's the first time I've switched off, so it was lovely. So I'm going to do more of it.
It's healthy.
It is because you put out a serious amount of content.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a weird spot. It's funny you bring this up now because I was going to talk about it tomorrow, which now, for people watching or listening to this, was like 3 or 4 days ago. So I don't even know if I'll end up talking about it, but I'm in that weird spot where like my job is directly related to basically my most time consuming hobby. And so I do have those times where like the lines blur between working and hobby. And the problem with that is it's like incredibly time consuming just in terms of my own mind. And I realize that like this doesn't apply to most people, like literally everybody but me, and I guess the few people I work with. But it's that weird part where I think about Sorare too much. But and I have a really hard time turning it off because I'm like, all right, I need to stop thinking about Sorare. And it's like, oh wait, I'm going to work right now. And by going to work, I mean down the hall to my desk. But so I don't know. I'm not very good at turning it off. And I will say that Maxime is adamant about people doing that. Like, he's like, when we are not working, like, you have to make sure you're not working and go do what you want to do and don't think about work. And if you're away, like, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be off this week, but like, don't worry, I'll have my phone and I'll have Slack. And it's like, and he's just like, go away, like, go away. And just, I struggle with that personally. And so I hear you about you should take time off, but it's like, I struggle with it.
I think the beauty is that the timing of this is that like there was no real football that I care about, and that's why I almost like I've tried a few times, but I actively think now I just never want to get into Asia or MLS like properly, because then I just would never actually have any time where it's like, oh, I can chill. Whereas at the minute it's like international breaks. It's like, oh, okay, I could maybe chill out now. But even then, the engine needs to keep going. That's only really from a Sorare perspective. YouTube, I still put out videos every day, so it's like. But you can work a bit harder in the weeks leading up to it to take a couple of weeks off if you make timeless content. But like, I don't know, it's just been really nice. It's something I actually didn't know if I'd be able to do it. And I can also say that in the last few days, I've been like, I need to do something. I've been sitting around drinking cups of tea a little too long, But I went to fucking hot yoga.
That's how you know that you really have just checked out, when you start doing hot yoga.
I went to hot yoga. Do you know what I've been doing a lot as well? I've been playing a lot of. Have you ever seen lawn bowls? Like bowls. It's not 10-pin bowling. It's the bowls that like turn one way or the other on a big bit of grass, like 25 meters, maybe 20 meters.
Oh.
And you roll it and it rolls along the grass and it'll turn in. I've also played a bit of golf.
I think do you post a picture from a golf course somewhere? Maybe it
probably. I had a great round yesterday. Yeah. For me, great round yesterday means I think I like went round. Like I scored 38 points Stableford off 24 as a handicap, which means kind of playing to like a 22 handicap.
Yeah.
Now consider I play once a week and I've maybe played 5 rounds this year. I feel like I'm starting to get the touch back.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a Sorare golf tournament. There was one summer that I played like every day, and played off like 16 or something. But I'm just not consistent enough. That's the best I've ever been, which, but like that was 5 years ago. So no, I'm not a consistent golfer and I don't play in the winter. But I love it. It's good fun. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah.
What do you do? Do you have any wee hobbies other than the gym? Do you have any sports you play?
I play basketball.
You're not too short for that.
Fuck off, John. I can jump out of the gym.
You should have said, "Are you not too fat for yoga?"
Oh, you're right.
You missed it. You missed it.
Sitting up there for me. I wasn't used to it.
You're too nice.
No, I played basketball growing up, and not recently, over the past few years, I play with. It's funny. I play with a group of guys. It's mostly pickup, and I call us.
What does pickup mean? By the way,
sorry. So there are usually we play at a school gym. And in the schools here, like the middle schools, the basketball courts are a little smaller. So instead of 5-on-5, we play 4-on-4. And it's just like 10 or so people show up and we pick teams by shooting free throws. And that's kind of what pickup means. You just pick up a game when you get there. And I'm actually when I started, I was one of the younger ones there, which means obviously everybody is very old there. But there's actually a guy that is part of the group who's in his, I don't think he's 70 yet, but he's in his like late 60s, and he's slower than all of us and moves a little, and he doesn't jump really at all. But I look at him and I'm like, that's what I want to do when I'm almost 70 years old. Like I want to be able to run around a basketball court with a bunch of 30 and 40-year-old guys and play basketball. And so part of the reason why I work out is so I can play basketball, and I don't run down the court once and I'm just like gasping for air, because that's what happens after you stop playing. There was a part of my life where I became very sedentary, and I was just like, and then I was like, somebody was like, come play basketball. I'm like, I love basketball. And like 5 minutes in, I'm like,
I can't do it.
And I was still the youngest one there. And I was just like, I got to get myself in shape here.
Yeah. I'm kind of having that realization right now. I kind of had that in the last couple of weeks. I've signed up to like an 8-week training thing starting in like 10 days. And then I'm going to do like a hell and back, which is like a Tough Mudder, which is
Love
like,
it.
I am not fit enough for any of that, but I'm going to fucking do it because I had
Yeah.
this moment of like, I'm probably going to have kids in the next few years. And then in 10 years time, I'll be 40. And those kids will probably be like 6, 7. And they'll be looking to kick balls and throw things and climb mountains and do this and do that. And my knees are bad. Like they're just shit. And it's like, if I just stick at what I'm at now, I'll be in no shape to do anything. And it's quite a like real realization. You know, I'm sure we all have them and none of
Absolutely.
us act on them. And I'm probably going to go through little ups and downs, whatever. But it's like the 30 years old has hit me. I turned 30 since I last turned on a camera.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, so that happened.
Did you feel much different once you turned 30? Do you feel like an adult?
I find it quite arbitrary, the whole age thing. I say that as I talk about the age thing, like it
No,
matters.
but they're all just numbers now.
Yeah, it does. But I wish I had a bigger party because now I can't have one for 10 years. Like my 21st was a long time ago. And I really like went out for dinner with like some friends. I should have had a big party. So I might have a big 31st and just
I was
pretend
going
it's
to
my
say,
30th.
no, once you
Or
get to a certain
just say,
age,
I don't care, I'm having a big party.
Right.
But I
Right.
think, here's the thing. People feel obliged to come to your 30th. They're like,
You're
oh,
right.
it's his 30th. But they don't feel obliged to come to your 31st.
No.
So I might just say it's my 30th again and hope like.
You just have to word it differently. We're celebrating my 30th as I turn 31.
Correct.
Yeah.
I like it.
Although in South Korea, was it South Korea now? Oh, no. Yeah, if you were 31 in South Korea, now you're 30. Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. Also, I could celebrate like 33 and a third. That's a big thing in Lord of the Rings. Hobbits celebrate that. So, any
Sure.
Lord of the Rings lovers out there, I know there's a big crossover in Lord of the Rings and football lovers. So, all you Lord of the Rings lovers out there, there's definitely like one guy who's like, oh, John knows. This guy fucks. John knows. Everyone else is like, what is this nerd? Unfollow. Anyway.
I'll come to Ireland for your 33rd and a third birthday.
Would you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, don't say it if you don't mean it.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have said it. But 33, you're 30. Yeah, I got plenty of time. I was actually talking to Sam Tai today, who I originally learned of on your show. So I was talking to Sam and Harry Trades because the three of us do a show over on Quinny's Sorare TV, although we haven't done it in a while. We pulled a Nellis and just stopped. But I was saying that I need to do like a UK tour. I really should do a full European tour. But it's a weird conversation with my wife, like, hey, I have to go to Europe for like 2 weeks to meet a bunch of like soccer nerds.
It's
and
your
so
job.
I haven't
your
figured
job's
out.
Literally being a soccer nerd.
Yeah, but Maxime's not going to pay for me to like go hang out with everybody in London for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you make that like a wee weekend. You go and work with HG in Paris or wherever it is, Nantes or Marseille or something weird for like a week, for like 5 days. And then Friday you bounce in the wee train, shoot over to London, spend the weekend there, maybe take the Monday back to Paris, work another couple of days, and then off home.
Yeah. Leaving home for 2 weeks is tough with 3 kids.
Yeah.
There's just always shit to do.
The way you need to frame it in 2 ways. You need to make her think it's her idea, which is never going to happen. So forget that one. So you need to frame it that you're doing it for the better of like for your family. The networking is going to be invaluable. Yeah. I'm meeting guys who could open doors in content. I think it's really good for us. Those are the sentences. I hope she's not behind you just out of shot.
That shit doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, we are talking about going to Paris, though, like my wife and I. And then I'm going to be like, hey, do you want to go to London and meet a bunch of people who play Sorare? She'll be like,
nope.
No, I don't.
Nope. Do you want to go and meet a bunch of virgins? Oh, I love slagging us.
Yeah. As anyone who's still listening or watching it 69 minutes and is feeling offended.
Heyo.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway.
But yeah, 69 minutes actually feels like a good time to let you go.
Cool.
So thanks for coming on. Big help here. I'm very excited for the return of So Far So Rare. And I'm just waiting for you to send me a message in like 2 hours. Be like, hey, what are you doing next week to record So Far So Rare? But I'm going to say no, at least for this time.
You took the words out of my mouth. At least now I won't be paid. So I'll have to go search, and I'll probably start that on Monday. I'll start pinging out a few messages. But yeah,
I will say though, for anyone who doesn't, I can't imagine anybody is watching or listening to this and doesn't regularly listen to So Far So Rare when it actually is available. When was the last one? Like 10 years?
Sometimes.
But it's fantastic. Go subscribe wherever. Where do you want people to do it? YouTube, Spotify?
Question. Yeah, we're at YouTube probably, but question for you, and then I could ask you this off air. But I've started it now. Now everyone wants to know what the question is.
Yeah.
Do you want me, like, if I do that, do I go back through everything I've missed over the last month and talk about the individual bits with people, or do I just like forget about it all?
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about.
Okay, cool. All right. I won't go back through the announcements then and talk about random 2-factor authentications and updates on.
Yeah. I will say, just as I said, we were going to finish. I don't think anybody is listening to you for that. Okay. For like the what just happened on Sorare this week. I think people just want to listen to you talk about anything. And you're
one of those Northern Irish accent lovers. You love Jamie Dornan, don't you? Love yourself a bit of.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Busted. You could just be reading a book and I'd listen to
it. I like your accent too, Laird. Yeah. But PSU not so much, but I still tolerate it. I just thought I'd fire one late in because then I don't know if he comes at me, he's dealt with an hour and 12 minutes of this. So I'm like, I thought I'd fire.
No, there is literally a 0% chance that he has watched or listened to this. And the only way he found this is somebody like clipped it for him and sent it to him.
Don't clip it. Yeah. Don't clip it. Yeah, anyway, look, thanks for having me, and thanks for like asking me about me or something.
I hope you didn't. Yeah, I hope you didn't feel awkward talking about yourself, because I had a lot of questions about you, and you're the only one who could really answer them. So
true.
Anyway, thank you to everybody for listening or watching, and there'll be more shows this week. I say this week as if I'm doing it live, but it's actually last week right now or something. Anyway, thanks everyone, and we'll see you around.